Hello and welcome to Warblog. I'm going to walk through this Pansir V scenario for the last time. I've done it a few times now. I'm a bit jaded by it. Hopefully it should all work to some extent. Now, essentially, this is the Pansir Valley. Like I said a few times now, I could maybe make that aesthetically a little more interesting and maybe a little bit more like a valley, but maybe all these hills. But the Soviets coming through here, the Mujahideen, essentially, all their units are the mouth of the valley. So, in concentrations here. I'm not saying this is sort of like some massive surprise, but basically the Mujahideen, but the Soviets used basically 4,200 paratroopers, so that's about 8 brigades, battalions. So let's just insert them. Now, just to sort of walk through the rules a bit, this unit is actually in this place here. I don't know why he's got a different markup on him, but let's not worry about that. So let's just see what happens. So it's 3, which was the unit down here, plus these people, which is times 1. Well, totals up to 3.15 against my 8. Now I've got 8, I think, because I'm in mountains. So I get a terrain bonus in my defence. So it's 1 to 3, no result. So I managed to land in there. I'm just going to go through these really quickly because I know where I want to put them. I'm really going to bother with the. So that should be at least 6.15. This is my 8. 6.15. 6.15. This is my 8. Yeah, the exchange. So that was a bit better for him. So maybe I won't land there next time, but I've got 1 there. I'm not even going to even look at the numbers. That's an exchange. Insert exchange, so it's coming in pretty much reasonably moderate fire. Units taking some sort of result. That's good. So that's a good place to land. Here the fire's probably going to be a little heavier. Exchange. Now we'll land in there again. This other unit should be better odds with no results. So good. And the last unit, I think I want to take this place out. I'm going to go there again. Insertion. No result. So I managed to paratroop surrounding these hexes with a fairly reasonable presence here. So I've got quite a lot against this village here, which is Anava village, which you want to take. These are the main objectives. Down here it's a pretty strange affair. I'm going to start off with just by attacking these units. Now I imagine, in fact I'm not even going to do that because this is stupid. I'm going to take out this unit. No, I'm going to take out this unit. Let's see what 3 units can do. 2 to 1 and exchange, not too bad. Okay. 3 to 1 exchange. So 2 exchanges causing 1 depression, 1 depression. So okay, got some artillery. I want to put my artillery against this. I'm going to split it. 1, 2, 3. See what happens. Now I'm going to get rid of that. So that was another exchange. So that goes in the direction of 2. So I want to fire on the other unit over here with these other artillery units. Okay. Let's move. Okay. So it's going to move up 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 2, 3, 4. And half of the recon units. Attack. 2 to 1 in exchange. This is tougher than I thought. In this stack, depression's 3. I'm going into this stack here. I really want to be pounding them. 1 to 1 in exchange. This is depression's 2, depression's 3. Here I'm going to just see what I can do against that. I mean, it's silly, really. Quite a lot of units just to sort of get one smallest unit out. 3 to 1, defender eliminated. But that was the sort of result that I kind of wanted. Okay, so the reason I'm not attacking that, because it's just massive, they're worth like 48. It's really difficult. Now that's the first turn. I mean, I didn't do any prep fire on that, I just attacked it with like an entire army and removed it. I think I was unlucky with these 2 units. I mean, this one's going to start to recover. At least this one at 3 can only ever recover down to 1. Hopefully if I can keep that going, I can take these units out and start making some headway up here. And obviously these units have just landed, so they can't move or anything. So now, for the first time in about 2 hours, it's the Jardine turn. I haven't got this far yet. So what do they want to do? Well, let's face it, I don't think they've really got enough to start attacking, but they've got rockets. I mean, he's going to be at 4, 8 or something. I can't bother to think of the numbers now. What are these guys going to do? All I'm doing is using my rocket fire. 1 to 4. No, I'll take a retreat, but that's going to not have an effect. He's moved. Let's see what this rocket fire can do. Rockets, rockets. He's fired. It's going to be 1 to 4 again, isn't it? 1 to 2. An exchange. That's okay because the artillery doesn't get fatigued. So now he's fatigue depression 3, which is pretty good because he's obviously hammered coming in, which is actually the historic precedent. So that's it. But I'm bringing these ones down here to take this out. These rocket units are going to sit there doing whatever they do. I've got some rockets down here, which I'm going to use to attack this artillery here. One to 2, I take a retreat. That's incredible, look at that. Okay, so that's the end of the first turn. And obviously it doesn't counter properly, which is really irritating. The Russians. Okay, so he's probably now down to depression 1 and he's down to depression 2. Air power. Well, I think we're going to go for this again. 1, 2, 3. Repounding that. Oh, look at that. 3 to 1 odds, defend or retreat. We just don't retreat because it's just air power, but he should be at depression 5 now. And this little guy, an exchange. Okay, well, so he's at depression 2, and he's at depression 5, so we should at least be able to get some kind of attack in here. 2, 3, and I'm only going to use 3 units there and that, but I'm going to use half the artillery. 4 to 1, defend or retreat. So he's now at depression 7. He's retreated there. So I want to take him out first. So this is some of these units have actually moved. So let me commit the units that moved, which were these ones, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, to following that attack up. 7 to 1, defender eliminated. So now moving into there. These units still have all their movement, they still have movement. Let's just look at this properly. So we select that stack there. He's moved 2, 2, he's moved 6. He's moved 6, he's moved 6, 6. Oh no, he's got 2 movement left. So each of those attacks cost him 2, so he shouldn't really be able to attack into there. It's 3 attacks in one turn. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And let's put in some artillery. No, let's not use the artillery there. Let's just attack. Third attack. Exchange. I'm not sure what's happening there, but okay. The minutes are going to run out here actually, so it's going to be a bit of a pause. But I'm going to actually play a second round, and I'm going to try and pretend that you won't notice when that happens. So pounding away at the entrance to the Pansir Valley. None of my air mobile units, the objectives. I haven't attacked them yet. I've used up all my air power. I think I've pretty much used up most of these things. Yes. So this is a big stack. I don't know why it's a big stack. 5, 15, double 30. Last time I was coming to about 48. I was getting really bad results against it. Let's see what I can do here. Now, because these are all motorised, they're getting quite a lot of attacks because you only lose 2 depressions when you assault something. So I think I'm going to have to limit that so that it's a percentage of what you've got. It just becomes more and more complex. But I haven't attacked with these units yet, but 5 to 1 defender retreat. That's good. They've sort of retreated to there. So initially it's going to use whatever I've got left again to commit myself into that direction. Seven to 1 defender retreats. He's retreated to there. That was a bit unfortunate for you. Okay. I mean, his depression now is 7, so he's going to be worthless, basically. And a defender eliminated. So I've done quite well down here, really. I'm a bit unsure of the mechanics of all of it. I can't really just steam through the mountains. I've got to get this hex here. It's heavily entrenched. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think he gets like 0.1, so 5.1 times 3 for the mountains, it's 15.3. Entrenched, 31. I haven't got that before, but I think maybe because there's some other factors involved, I don't know. But I was attacking into there and losing. I couldn't figure out why, and then the units were vanishing. And it's because it's an extended map, and they were actually doing an attack and retreat. And when the attack and retreat option came down, it was looking for a place to retreat them, but it couldn't find a place because essentially it had gone off the scale. One way with the details. But anyway, so we're sort of attacking around here. I think that's been quite a reasonable approach, but it's certainly not a walkover. Taking out these little units there was not easy. It took a lot of effort. Now, what I'm sort of half thinking is, how realistic is that? And it took up, sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, well, seven battalions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 battalions, 4 Ecke companies to take out a single company in there. Now that was a good roll in this one, but similarly down here, and to be quite honest, the fact that these units can actually even attack into the mountains is a bit odd. They must be able to move into mountains if they can attack, but don't worry about that just yet. Just worry about the game as it works. That's how I like to sort of play it. So the question is, do I want to attack any of these places? Now he's actually down to depression 3. I want to leave most of these units. These depressions are okay. Okay, okay, his depression is 2, so he could either do with being left or assaulting this place here. Now, they're going to be worth 1 plus 1.1 or something, so it's going to be about 1.1 times 3, it's 3.3 entrenched. That will be double to 6, let's say 7. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 fours, so 16. So I should be able to get a 2-to-1 attack on that place. Now, if I don't do it now and win, I'm going to be compromised by these units, but they're so small, I don't think they can actually attack that unit. See, what I'd like to do is wait until I get some air power in there. I mean, they can't come out, really, realistically. So I'm going to leave it a turn. Now it's the Afghan turn. Now, down here, they've got sort of a choice as to whether or not they hold that, which I think they will, and certainly really don't have a choice to start attacking. 1, 2, 3. You know, there's no way they can attack the Soviet forces, which I think is realistic, especially considering the size of them and also historically, you know, that there would have been. What I don't have in play here at the moment is the regular forces, which I keep meaning to sort of get into, but it's not going to be simple. It's going to take a bit of time, but that would be nice because they would be able to attack small units. But there are no small units here. I mean, there might be small units, but they're stacked up, so there's strength in numbers. For example, if this little 3 unit was over here on its own, I could attack it at strength 5, even though I've only got a strength of 1 as my infantry company, or Mujahideen irregulars, that would be then. They would attack at a strength of 5. Now, in the hills, it's not so good, but here in the plains, it would be brilliant. But because they're actually these, you know, there's an army there. You know, they can't do that anyway, so it works out to be the same thing. But I think they're just going to stay there. You know, they've taken heavy losses already. Historically, they didn't take so many losses. It was the civilians that took a lot of the losses, being in the towns when they were bombarded. Now, we're definitely going to get to that hex there. So that puts the ante up a little bit there. But I don't think we have enough to attack, but we can certainly harass them with rockets. Attacks are eliminated. Maybe I shouldn't have gone for such a big stack. Attack and retreat. Mujahideen not doing very well really at all. Well, that's their turn. Right. Now, decisions. Do I keep hammering at that, or do I provide some air support for this and this? I think I'm going to just to sort of bring a bit of variety in the game, so provide some air support in here. And let's split it up into 2 rounds, just to see how this one goes. 2-to-1, defender retreats. So that was pretty good. That gives me, that puts them down to a depression of 3. So I'm actually going to, let's see what this is here. I think I'm going to go another round with some more sorties. So that was 4-to-1, but only in exchange. But that's pushed his depressions right up to, well, right up to 4, which isn't much. But I think that gives me the opportunity to go for an assault. Exchange. That was rubbish. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move everything over into this little stack. Because I think last time my attack was limited slightly because I couldn't go over the river. And I think I'm going to leave it at that. So we sort of prepared our next assault, but I'm actually going to, I can't come to the range for that. I'm going to but I'm going to use this artillery. See what the artillery does. No, nothing. So that's it. It's now the new mob's turn. Now, I don't know what I'm going to do here, but I think I'm going to commit all my rockets that I can into that one. 1 to 2. No, so that was a waste. 1, 2, 3. Let's see whether I can actually get that. Can these units move through mountains? Yes. So I think I'm going to would be interesting to counter attack against that. This is need everything. But I think that sets me up for next turn as a possible counter attack. So instead of this unit being surrounded, it's now this lot here, but they've got the numbers. So the Russians, well, airstrikes first. Let's see what we can do here. Let's just pile everything in there. I was going to go for one of those little units to try and eliminate it, but I think that's a pity. 1 to 1 an exchange. That was brilliant, but a 1 to 1 has brought that down 10%, which is, significant. And I'm going to go for an assault. I'm going to go for it with everything. Now this is sort of interesting really, because I'm pretty sure that in a lot of games you would have stacking rules. And to be quite honest, this is overstacked. There are things just under there that have gone underneath. That is interesting. I'm not going to commit to that attack. Well, my motorised units can go into the mountains, but they've got no movement left after doing that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slap a lot of motorised units into the mountains. I'm saying that deliberately because it's just stupid. Let's just see what that. Now I will be able to get everything next time. Okay, but let's just go for the artillery. See whether the artillery can do anything on its own. What was that? 1 to 3 attack and retreat, so nothing there. So that's everything spent out again. I'm going to go for another assault on this village. Another exchange. Well, let's just see. Okay, so that's why I was moving these units here, so I think we'll go with that today. So now the Mujahideen, again, we can't really do much down here, but we split the forces around, and I think I'm going to go and try and take this unit out again, some artillery, some rockets, just keep firing rockets at it. Okay. These rockets are not very good. Mujahideen are actually pretty low on infantry. I think I'm going to have to go back and just give them a bit more ground troops. I did lose some down there. I mean, it's not a game that you can necessarily win as the Mujahideen, and historically they did sort of just fade away. They just vanished, and then the Soviets left and came back. So it's not sort of, we have to build a front line here, but they're doing well holding that up, and I don't think I'm going to do any counterattacks. I mean, this unit here, we can assume there's small arms fire, but there's no major engagements. But they're surrounded and they're waiting for this. I mean, if these can get some of their rockets to actually do something useful, then it might be a problem. Here, we could possibly do something. We could just break out of one of these places and consolidate our units. I think I'm going to put twice the units in all of these just to give it a bit more flavour, but there's not much else that they can do as it stands. So now the Soviets. What have we got here? Suppression 0. Suppression's 4. These people are depressed as well now. I think I'm gonna try and harass some of these things here. So let's see what we can do here. Send in 2 attack helicopters, 2 to 1, an exchange. So let's knock that thing down a bit. Let's see what we can do here. Nothing. Here. In fact, I should have used my air assaults down in the southern section. 2 to 1 an exchange. So they're down pressure. So let's see what happens if I attack. 1 to 2. Not good odds, but an exchange, so not the worst thing in the world. That's going to be even worse. Let's just see what we can get here. One to 1, an exchange. They're really having a tough time. Anyone, it's real tough just attacking into these mountain hexes. Here, I think we should at least now be able to bring everything to bear. See what these numbers turn out to be. They've got to be better than what they were before. I should have used all my airstrikes on this to bring them down something, but too late for that. Oh, what the hell happened there? This happens to me. I think I've got some sort of virus. The screen just goes backwards. I put it down to the CIA, interdicting my browser usage. 1-to-1, defender retreats. Now that was so tight. I had 78 versus his 48. I still can't figure out how he got 48. I really can't. But 78.21 is a massive strike force, and just all that for 1-to-1 odds. Now he's retreated into that hex there, which is interesting, because that allows me at least to advance. With everything. And can I actually do another attack? Look at that. Yes. I'm going to have to do something about that, because I think I can do 3. So he's depressed by 2. Now I don't think I'm going to get another. This is probably going to be another 1-to-1, although he's not. It's going to probably be a 2-to-1, possibly a 3-to-1, but probably a 2-to-1, because he's no longer entrenched. Knocking him out of that hex basically unentrenched him. How realistic all that is something else. I mean, the fact that the truck's going to take into mountains is a bit. I'm not sure. 4-to-1 defender retreats. Now that was a bit better, but it's putting him back into the road. I mean, modelling wise, it's not too bad, because you can see I'm slowly pushing them back. I mean, I think I was looking at some other stuff. Whenever there's an error in a game, you can usually try and figure out, you know. I mean, that wasn't an error, but you know, those units have not deliberately, consciously withdrawn to the next hex. It's just the way the retreat has gone. I mean, there isn't really too many places that they can retreat. There's a river down here. You know, there's only these hexes. They're going to follow that. But I've got into that hex there, and I don't have enough movement to move into the mountain hexes. And his depression is 4. So that stack has now been at least hit. Now, I think as the Mujahideen, I contemplate maybe now actually starting to make a retreat, because being there is no different to being there next turn. Which means that they can pile into here, which means it's very dangerous now for these people, because they're going to have the full wrath of this stack, which isn't actually that big, to be quite honest. There's only 3 infantry companies in there, but it might be enough on here to cause a retreat, which they can't retreat from, and some elimination. So the drama is on, mathematically, and I think that's it. Next turn, and the Mujahideen. I think they are going to do that retreat, and that does force the Soviets to actually move their units and to prepare a battle line, because not all their units are on the road. I mean, they might be at 1, 2, 3, so they'll be able to get 1 attack in. They're still they're as defended there as they were there. They can't fire that artillery now, but is it going to see? What I can't do in this game is like save it and then go back, because I'd like to do that because I cheat in most games. I sort of save it, and then if I die, I just reload it. You can't do that in this game, but I'd like to attack this hex here. I mean, he's only got 6 in mountains. That's 6, 12, 18. That's a lot. No way I'm going to attack. But I'm going to fire my rockets for all they're worth into this hex. So the Mujahideen doesn't get to do much. As I said, I'll have to give them a few more troops. I think they need a little more to at least represent a threat. I mean, there's just no threat there at all. Okay. snapping everything onto here because they're now, we were getting 1-to-1s before. So should we get 2 or 3-to-1s now? 1-to-1. Defender retreat. That was quite good because now that moves his whole stack. The thing is, they hadn't moved, they would have recovered a depression. So there was a penalty for moving. But they're now at depression 7, which basically means they're pretty stuffed because I can move a lot of this motorized infantry and recon units up the valley now. I move them 2, 2, 3. They should still be able to use this artillery, although this artillery stack will not 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm actually going to leave them there. Stupid. Get all the units onto the road. That gives me a sort of preparation for that. I'm going to attack. I lost one of my artillery. Stupid movement. 6-to-1, defender eliminated. So that's pretty much game over for the Mujahideen. And that's pretty much how it happened. You know, there was a bit of a bloody nose at the entrance to the Pansir Valley. The paratroopers came down here. They were actually surrounded here, but here they're surrounded here. Having a bit of a rough time. They haven't really taken too much in casualties, but they are depressed 3. These got depression 1, so they are sort of, you know, taking casualties. It is, you know, they are sort of, they've held their objectives. These units really can't move, but they can't. These units are not really in a position to attack that readily at 1-to-1 odds. It's a bit of a crap shot, but this unit, motorized units, are now going to be moving up this valley. Start moving now. They need 1 movement point. I'm not going to play it anymore because time is just so limited. But yeah, I think that's interesting. I think there's a few things to sort of learn from the game perspective, the mechanics. But it's one of these games, when you look at the map, it just looks so boring and rubbish. But when you actually start to play, it is actually quite interesting. There's these paratroop elements landing, you know, and I haven't taken any objectives yet, but you know, that's just going to happen. But you know, there's actually quite a lot happening here, and I think what you've got to sort of do is look in between to sort of think, well, what's actually happening on the ground. I mean, these battles are probably quite bloody, in the sense that there's probably quite a lot happening, but both sides are pretty hunkered down. No one's really doing any major attacks because they don't want more people dying. So there's probably only maybe injuries, I don't know, but you know, they're sat around shooting at each other, you know, from behind rocks and things. And you know, if the Soviets didn't make that breakthrough, these people would probably be pudding. Anyway, that's pretty much the end of it. You can play this game too, see if you can do better. Warblog.co.uk. Cheerio.